Glad you could all join us this morning. We're going to take just a quick overview of the economic injury disaster loan package that's out there and give you some of the specifics, applications, eligibility, and a few other things. All right. So the EIDL is up to $2 million in assistance. It's for providing relief to small business, and it's really to help you overcome the loss of revenue that you've experienced. There is no threshold for how much you have to lose to qualify for this. It's just there needs to be a demonstration of loss from 2019 until 2020. So that's a pretty low bar to jump over. The uses of the fund, of the loan, is for working capital purposes. That would be to pay fixed debts, something like your monthly rent, your payroll costs, accounts payable, and other bills that you can't pay because of the disaster's impact. With the payroll and the rent, if you did apply for the PPP loan, you cannot use these for purposes for this loan. That would be double dipping because that's where you're hoping to get your forgiveness from. One of the qualifications here is that credit may not be available somewhere else. So you have to kind of the bank's not giving you any money and you're a little stuck. This is where you can go to get some relief. There are some ineligible uses. Just give you a few examples. These are the things that aren't working capital, like paying dividends, bonuses, expanding your business, or making repairs to the damage around your facility. So in terms of those loans, the interest rate you can see there are 3 and 7.75% for small businesses, nonprofits 2.75%. And it's up to a 30-year payback. They do look at the term based case by case and what your credit allows them to have as far as a payback. There is an automatic 12-month deferral on those payments, and also they're going to look for personal guarantees, and depending on the size of the loan, they may require some collateral. $25,000 is the maximum amount they'll allow you to have without some kind of collateral or personal guarantee. Eligibility for these loans are businesses less than 500 employees, sole proprietors with or without employees, rental property owners. I didn't see that specifically in the list, but later on you'll see one of the things that it can be used to replace is the rents that you've lost. And also the private nonprofits are eligible for this loan. So the application process, not very difficult. They're looking for the latest business tax returns. There is you can see there SBA Form 5 is what's needed. Personal financial statements for any owner over 20%. That's where they're looking for the personal guarantees. Schedule of debt, transcript from the IRS so they can prove out your tax return. Other information that they may request. Tax returns for every owner over 20%. Financial statements if you can't produce a tax return for them. Something like a year-end income statement, year-to-date income statement, and they're looking for gross revenue, cost of sales, lost rents. This is where back to the property owners are eligible for this, and also possibly the number of employees. So pretty simple process, not a lot of information gathering. Probably a little simpler than the PPP loan many of you might have just gone through. All right, a couple other additional comments here. Application and funding in 3 to 4 weeks once they get your application and approve you. The approval, again, it's being focused on paying expenses, even though it says you're eligible if you lost revenue, but they're not looking at it as revenue replacement. It's just to try to help you make ends meet between now and when the crisis has eased up on the business. Credit history will be a factor. It is actually the primary criteria for approval, and they're looking for an acceptable credit history and your ability to repay. At nonprofit process, again, pretty simple. The SBA form, it's 3 years worth of statement of activities, schedule of liabilities, and again the transcript. So that's an overview. It's really not that difficult of a process. I haven't walked through the whole thing, but looked through the application. Didn't seem all that difficult. There is just a final comment on this. There is, and many of you may have heard about this, the $10,000 grant, which you can go through, fill out the process, and apply for the $10,000 grant, which does not need to be repaid. I've had a number of clients apply for that. Some still waiting for the funds. But if you do apply for that and then you apply for the PPP loan, that $10,000 will come off the forgiveness at the back end, and then it will need to be repaid. That's our current understanding of the way that grant would work. So there's a couple of slides here just to kind of, if you wanted to look through, you can get through, and just these came right off the SBA website, just to give you a little bit of additional information of the process. The SBA, there is a good little workflow through there that you can get off their website that tells you how the whole program works. So with that, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them.
I thought the loans were not collateralized. Is that a change?
There's not, from what I read, that's not required, but there may be instances where they would request collateral.
And have you heard how long it is taking for the $10,000 to be put into your account?
I have not. I had talked to a client yesterday, and he said I think he applied last week, and he has not seen the funds yet. It was Wednesday or Thursday, I think, when he applied. So I think it's still taking a little bit of time. They probably have a large backlog of requests.
And is this loan applied for directly with SBA as opposed to the PPP, which is going through the banks?
That is correct. This goes to the SBA. You would go to the SBA website, disasterloan.sba.gov, and that's where you can find the application.
Okay, that looks like the end of our questions for Rob.